I think just being a beginner in self-storage and people wanting to buy their first facility, they really struggle with, number one, it's kind of analysis paralysis, where you've got two things going on, which is number one, they're like, well, what does a good deal even look like, right? And then number two, it's like, okay, how am I gonna fund that deal? So the biggest thing that people do before, and they just stop, they just absolutely, they don't even take that next step, is they stop because they're like, oh, well, storage is oversaturated, and they really are looking only in one place, which is on market. And those deals actually aren't the best deals. So really, they don't know where they should look. And so this is something that gets them stuck, and they actually stop. The second thing that really keeps them stuck is that they think that you need millions of dollars to buy your first storage facility. And that mindset stops them in their tracks because they're like, well, I don't have $1 million. I'm just not gonna go buy a facility. And I say that is false. That is literally like, that is the worst thing you can do. I did not come from real estate and did not have money on my own. And so one of the facilities that we purchased was 10,500 square feet, a smaller facility, but we were able to do a seller financing deal, and we only had to put $50,000 down. And I partnered with someone that actually had some funds. And so that was the biggest piece, is that a lot of people think they have to have millions of dollars. And in fact, you can actually put a smaller down payment than a residential house. And so moving past that, you can really build your net wealth if you can move past that thought process of, number one, like, hey, I don't know where to look. And then thought process number two is, hey, I actually don't need millions of dollars. I can do this with creative financing. I can do this in multiple different ways with other people's money. And so I think just in this market in 2025 and into 2026, a huge, big key indicator for actually closing storage deals right now is relationships. And so relationships is one of the best capitals, and people don't even think about it, that it's an actual currency. And so a lot of my students, I teach them from day one, is that it's all about building relationships with long-term people, right? And so if you have relationships with brokers, brokers are actually people that will go out there and find you deals. And so this relationship, if you nurture and you call every single week, they're actually going to bring you more and more deals that can actually help you cross the finish line. And then the second thing is really important, is that another relationships that you build in storage owners, right? So I have my storage school students, we teach you guys how to actually create your own off-market pipeline, which means that we show you how to call storage owners, how to have a conversation with them. And it's less about, hey, I would love to put together an offer and would you consider it? It's more about the relationship that you build with those storage owners, because they, from that day on, it's not always about price. It's about, hey, do I like you? And can you actually, buy my facility? And number three, can you actually take that facility to the next level because it's my business baby, right? They want to make sure that they offload or exit their storage facility that's actually going to be taken care of. So that's, I think, the really key piece in this day right now, is people aren't building these relationships. And that really goes a long way to actually closing a storage facility. And so most of them are, at the end of their day, and they're just scrolling like with one eye, while they're either watching Disney or watching a movie with their family. And so what happens is people think that scrolling is actually moving the needle forward. And I have to be a little sassy and say, like, we need action, right? So we either need to send or email that listing over to yourself, and the next day we need to reach out to that broker. Like, we need to actually talk to that broker, ask them about, hey, what's the seller's motivation? What is the profit and loss report? Is this market in this area a good area to buy a storage facility? And so these are the things that you have to do, is people aren't asking the right questions and then building that relationship. And so that is the action. That's the action that we need in order to analyze that deal and then go out there and put an offer in, because people can get really good at, talking to brokers, getting deals sent to them, analyzing those deals all day long, but they come and they are not actually submitting offers. And sadly, you will never get a storage facility if you never take the shot, right? So making sure you build those relationships, you have conversations, and you actually send an offer to a broker, because a piece of paper means a lot, right? So that's one big thing, is people will actually miss a lot of their shots because there's so much in their head versus, hey, this is what the facility is worth. Oh, hey, Mr. Broker, here's an offer. Go send it to, the owner. And so what has happened right now in this market is that a lot of storage brokers are coming back 3 months later and saying, hey, we didn't take your offer then, but actually the owner will be open to taking your offer now. Like, do you want to buy it? And so my storage school students are getting these on-market deals for like $200,000 off-market price because they were patient and they actually never said, oh, I'll negotiate with you, right? So brokers right now they're coming back. They're actually bringing these deals back to a lot of people who are actually submitting offers. And if you never submit it, you'll never have someone come back and say, hey, do you want to buy it? A lot of people that jump into storage wanting to buy a storage facility, they don't know the secret about creative financing. And so creative financing is just a very complicated word for being like, hey, I know you own this facility. Would you be open to being the bank, right? And so this is something that I teach my storage school students is we actually submit 4 different offers. 2 of them are actually creative financing. 1 is cash and 1 is a bank offer. And so what this looks like is saying like, hey, I just had a call 2 days ago with an owner in Washington. Sadly, he had a stroke and he's like, you know what? I'm actually looking to exit my storage facility. And so I gave him 2 different offers. I said, hey, would you be open to being the bank and making actually 5% interest on this property over a 5-year period of time? And he was like, oh, I could do that, right? And so the education piece by you telling them, hey, do you want to make some extra money? And then also another key piece that a lot of people forget about is you actually, if you talk to the owner saying like, hey, you're actually going to decrease your capital gains by 20 to possibly 30, depending on your bracket. That is so important because this is a big thing as we want to keep money, within. And so being able to help out with capital gains is also a big positive that sellers really, really like right now. So that is really how you can use creative financing is you can have them get their price. So the price of this facility was $1.2 million, right? And I was okay with overpaying for it by $1.4 million. And the seller said, oh, I'll be fine with 5% interest over a 5-year balloon, right? 25 years amortized. And oh, by the way, I only, I'm okay with 15% down, which right now traditional banks, you have to put 35%. So you're really saving yourself a lot of money because you only have to put 15% down. And then also you're taking risk off the table because what happens is in seller financing, it's backed by the real estate, right? It's not backed by your house or you don't have to personally guarantee many things. So that is a really big thing, especially when it comes to risk for a new self-storage owner. With creative financing, there's so many different ways that you can present like a 3-part offer to a storage owner. And so I'm gonna give you an example of one of the facilities that we actually closed on. This was a facility in Louisiana that was actually closer by to the first facility that we purchased. And so the owner himself, he was like, hey, I wanna retire. I've been, doing this facility owning this facility about 10 years. And he's like, my wife really wants to leave to go to South Carolina. I love fishing. I just want to go on a charter boat, right? So he's already envisioning himself on a charter boat. And so what we did as good negotiators, we're like, hey, Mr. Owner, if we, paid you a little bit more for your storage facility, would you be open to being the bank? Right? And so he was like, well, actually I would, right? And so what that means is that he was the bank. He actually got 5.5% interest over a 7-year period. And so he ended up, we paid $500,000 for that storage facility. He's gonna make over $675,000 in 7 years, in addition to reducing his capital gains tax. And so one key piece that I think a lot of people don't understand is by presenting a 3-part offer, right? You've got 2 seller financing offers and 1 bank offer. You give these offers side by side. And so what you're doing is you're educating the seller on the different options that they have all out in line. And so when you do that, all these options, they work for you, right? Because you put them together. But what's wonderful about this is that the owner actually says, they get to feel like they're in charge and they pick which offer works for them and their motivation. And so in this case, this seller was like, hey, I love fishing. I want to take my grandkids out on a charter boat, once every 2 months. And so what we negotiated was we pay him every single month $2,200. and he loves it because it goes straight from our ACH into his bank account, never worries about it. And that's something that he gets to rely on every single month for 7 years. And then we have a big payout at the end. But his motivation was, hey, how do I reduce my capital gains? And then number two, how do I have steady cash flow, like cash cows, right? And without doing anything. And then the third thing is he's like, oh, I'm once in 7 years, I'm gonna go take that and I'm gonna go buy a ranch, right? So his motivation is really thinking long-term and how he can keep as much money and make more money by being the bank. And so this is actually what I teach in the self-storage school because I'm so passionate about it. I never want someone to think they have to have tons of money in order to get into self-storage. You can do it in multiple different creative ways. So if you guys are interested in learning about self-storage and buying your first facility within 6 to 12 months, definitely make sure you guys apply self-storage school. We teach you everything from A to Z, the 5 pillars on how to actually find, analyze, put offers, and operate your first facility. So make sure you guys apply below and I'll send you the form and we'll jump on a call and see if it's a good fit.